Hello again. I sometimes feel a bit like Winston Smith in 1984 in the scene where he's being tortured. Viewers will remember that his interrogator holds up 4 fingers and tells Smith that there are really 5. He inflicts pain upon him until in the end Winston Smith begins to deny the evidence of his own eyes and starts to agree that there really are 5 fingers rather than 4. That's how the meteorological office makes me feel sometimes when they tell me something which I know perfectly well to be false, something which goes against the evidence of my senses, and I am compelled, in order to fit in with the rest of society, to agree with something which is not true. I strongly suspect that most viewers in this country will be very well aware that the weather for the last month has been pretty wretched. Specifically, it has been damned chilly, with people wearing thick clothes more suited to November than May. It has at times seemed distinctly like the autumn rather than the spring. The nights have been cold as well, and many people have complained about the necessity of having the central heating on this late in the year. Fancy having the heating on in late May. I'm pretty sure that most of you living here will have similar thoughts. Not only was May pretty dire, so was April, of course. In short, it's been a lousy spring. The Met Office, though, have just released the news that far from being a cold spring, it has in fact been the warmest spring since records began in 1884. This May was also the hottest on record. This runs so far counter to what I am prepared to accept as true that I cannot help but wonder if I'm the only one to greet this news with frank disbelief. I know, without the shadow of a doubt, that there have been warmer springs in this country, and also hotter Mays than the one just gone. The Met Office suggests that it was the lack of sunshine which deceived people into supposing that the weather was cold in May, but that's not plausible. I know, and I'm sure that others do too, that it was unusual to turn on the heating at the end of May. I've been checking with people I know, including youngsters, and they all say the same thing, that the last month was cold. The Met Office also claimed that the fact that nights were warmer than usual served to raise the mean temperature for the month, but I know that to be nonsense too. The evenings and nights have been chilly, far more so than usual this time of year. Now, sometimes people in the comments here suggest that I am a climate change denier, but in this case we don't need to consider any broad issues such as that. The question is much simpler. I know that the weather for the last couple of months has been colder than is usual at this time of year. I am at the same time being told by a group of people that in fact the weather is particularly and exceptionally hot for this time of year. I know that this is not true, and so I have to ask myself why these people are trying to mislead me in this way and make me doubt the evidence of my senses and of my memory. The possibility exists, of course, that my memory and my senses are both playing me false. I'm old, and old people often feel the cold more than youngsters. My memory, too, might be fading and causing me to think nostalgically of past springs and exaggerate their sunniness and warmth. I cannot think, though, that this is true, because I know that often at the end of May I see people wearing T-shirts and going around without jackets or coats. On Friday, just gone, I observed that everybody, even young people, seem to be wrapped up very warmly, wearing clothes more suitable for the autumn than the spring. This tells me that it is not just me. I'm also hearing many people of a variety of ages complaining about the coldness of the season. They appear to be mentioning this unprompted, as though it is something they notice and draw attention to spontaneously. I'm pretty sure that this is not just my imagination or faulty memory. I am accordingly compelled to conclude that I am being deliberately misled, and that this has not been a very hot May, nor had it been a hot spring. Why this effort is being made to pull the wool over my eyes, I couldn't say. In the description to this video, I give a link to a news item where the Met Office make these peculiar claims.